Alright, I believe we're on now. Could be wrong. Give me a second on that. Alright, looks like we are. Okay. Alright, so that's right. We are starting this off here with, well, the game that starts it all, Titanic here. And this is going to be a little rough on your guys' end probably, just because this game is super, super good. Like, even on my end, it blurs a lot. But, yeah, Titanic Honor and Glory had made this game, and this is what I'm creating in Lego. So, thought that'd be kind of cool. I skipped the demo to get on here, but it's super cool. Yeah, you can't get any better. If you guys, it's free. You guys can download this yourself. I have the link in the description. It's a lot of gigabytes. It's like 50 gigabytes. So it's a big file. And this isn't even all. This is only 50% of the ship. The one that I actually wanted to get done, the one I actually wanted to play today, I couldn't. It wouldn't let me finish it. So I guess that one didn't work out well for me. But this one will do just fine. But the detail in this game is super good. Like, this is the flooring. And the way I'd be able to achieve a lot of this stuff would be, I could do it many ways. I could do sticker elements, I guess I could do. I could also use wedges to kind of make these little prints in the ground. It'd be a lot harder to do that, but this is legit as close as you can get to Titanic. I mean, as you can. So we're just going to kind of mess around with this because this is a very cool game. Like, you guys would freak out. I mean, this is, I don't even necessarily call this a game. I call this more of history here. But yeah, this is the galleyway. This is where you would enter in Titanic. Most passengers would enter in through that door or the door that's on the other side of the ship, which I can't show you because I can't go out that door. But yeah, this is D deck. This is like my favorite deck in Titanic. I think this deck actually has the most potential in Lego because, one, the doors are right there, and it's just incredible to see it. I can't, unfortunately, go that way, but yeah, they did kind of show you the map here, though, of D-Deck, at least on this side of the ship. But my point is, over here, this is the elevator and stuff. Unfortunately, I can't use the elevators. I don't think I can use it in this file, but I think another file I can use those. Not that I would want to use manually right now. So this is the side that Titanic poured in more water. So okay, I like to go in a little history lesson too while we're playing this, because it's important. Because this is what I'm building in real life, in Lego, but not physically in real life. The actual ship, like the big ship, that'd be a ginormous task. But no, in Lego. So what we need to understand is this is the side that Titanic took water in, and this door right here, I believe it was one of these two doors that they left open because this was the door that was supposed to, when lifeboats would arrive at the door and passengers would come into the door, because by this point the water was up to that door, so all people would have to do was enter into the door. By the way, welcome, and Craft, temporary name, Sam, Bricktastic Lego Ideas, and Copper. He's showing us the game he will be using to decide the interior details for the massive Titanic he is building. Yeah, so again, this is Titanic, and I am building more than just Titanic, hopefully, in the future. Sorry, I'm trying to get my tablet to cooperate with me. If I can get it to stand up, maybe. Maybe I put 10. Maybe I can do this. Anyways, yeah. So, this is Titanic. And this won't be the only ship I do, hopefully. I will be doing more ships than this. But this is a good start. And I also just want to give you guys history because this is what my goal is. I want to make history become known again, at least for ocean liners. I feel like I have a ability to do that. But yeah. So this is again, lifeboats would the goal for this was not only could passengers get in from that side and this side, passengers would be able to roll their boats up when Titanic was sinking and be able to walk out of this door and into a lifeboat to fill the lifeboats up more. Unfortunately, that didn't work. The I would say maybe a couple passengers have, if any, would have been able to get out this door, because once water got up to this door, this became the bigger hole for Titanic. This is what dragged Titanic down even more, and this is pretty much what I would say ruined Titanic. Titanic probably would have lasted a whole nother hour, maybe even an hour and a half, if this door was not open. Because Titanic's holes, they weren't even this big. This whole door here, it changed Titanic sinking drastically. But anyway, what I found surprising when they looked at the ship sizes, like Bismarck, I thought it was wider than Titanic, or at most as big. I don't remember which. So the thing with that, actually, and I would love to kind of speak about that. So Titanic was longer, I believe, than the Bismarck, but it was the Bismarck was way wider, I believe, than the Titanic. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's what they had intended for that goal to be. Anyways, now I will be lighting this up too, but that will not happen probably till the near end. I don't want to light anything up until the end. But yeah, these are the lights Titanic used. Just a normal light bulb that we all use today. It's different though. These light bulbs weren't LED or anything like that. These were like the early stages of light bulbs. Titanic also had the most amount of light bulbs any ship has ever had. It had over 10,000 light bulbs. And honestly, guys, this is only 50% of Titanic. There is much more, and the file I have isn't even 50%. This is like 25%. Again, down in the description is the big file for the 50%. It is like 50 gigabytes, so it's a lot of storage. So if you have room, I recommend just checking it out. But if you need help, you can contact me through Instagram or Discord or anything like that. But yeah, so my point is, though during the entire sinking, Titanic's light stayed on to the very end. Titanic, everyone was able to see, which I think was probably the biggest impact thing. If power went out like an hour right away after Titanic was sinking, I don't think anyone would have got out of Titanic. I don't like those who were on deck, at if anything, because it was night. This wasn't morning or afternoon, so Titanic wasn't letting any light in. So anyway, I only showed you guys this, and we're like 10 minutes in. We got way more to do. So this is D deck, and as I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, this is my favorite deck, and I could go faster if I want. I choose to take it slow. So this deck is basically where passengers will come sit down, and this is like the luxury area, and I can't go beyond here. But yeah, this is like the first class saloon, dining saloon. This is where everyone ate. That was first class. Yeah, this is like a first class deck, so no one other than first class could be on here, which made it even more important in my opinion. Now I took the thumbnail of this video or live stream here, but this was off a different picture. But no, the reason why I love this deck so much is not only does it have some of the most luxurious area in Titanic, like, guys, these windows are not what you think it is. So basically, the way that, and I'll show you in a second exactly what this meant, but you can see that here's the windows, and the windows itself aren't being lit by the actual natural light outdoor from the windows itself. They are being lit by actual lights that Titanic used, and I will show you in a second. what I'm talking about there. This is again one of the 6 Titanic pianos Titanic had on board. It even says right here, which is cool because they give us like little hints and stuff. But this is one of them. They were all. Oh wait, I guess here is some things. So yes, they did have windows behind them, but if you guys see these, like, it's kind of hard to describe, like these cylinder things going up. These are lights too. So when Titanic was at night, these would light up, and so these would be like the same. You wouldn't know if it was day or night outside if these were closed and stuff, unless you like were outside physically. Anyway, the ceiling is like, guys, this is gonna be hard to do in Lego, but a lot of this might have to be like stickered or something like that, just because it's almost impossible to do this kind of decoration other than like with studs or something. But yeah, this is a very big task. You can see some of the actual pictures and stuff that the Titanic used. Again, it gives us like information on some of this stuff. Titanic used a lot of the like French and Italian and British like designing combination there. So a lot of that like decoration is like a Victorian style. That's mainly what Titanic was built off. These lights are so cool. They're just decorated, and again, Titanic's lights, they stayed on until the very end pretty much. Yeah, Titanic was longer than the Bismarck. So this is one of Titanic's lights that they had on the staircases. If you look at all the staircases, this is the only one of these that were made. I forgot the name of it, but they only had like one of these on Titanic. But once you get up to other decks, they will have a light here and a light on this side too, because these columns weren't here. But for this deck, it made sense to have those columns here. All right, so this is kind of a question. Would you guys like to go upstairs or downstairs in this? Should we continue going up Titanic, or should we go down Titanic? Because Titanic is big and there's a lot to do. I pretty much covered everything on this deck. Again, first class 8 back there. They got to sit here. Music would be playing, and there would be another piano, I believe. I thought there was another piano. No, there wasn't. There's another piano upstairs. But yeah, and then back here. All right, Angraft. See you later. Yeah, there'd be the elevators down here, which these could go all the way to F deck, I believe. Which F deck, we know it'd be E deck. E deck would be the final deck. This would go down to Scotland Road, which would pretty much be a tunnel that would run through the entire Titanic. It's kind of like the Malevolence of Star Wars, where it has a train running through. Well, the tunnel, which I will show you very soon too, it ran through the entire Titanic, which also was a main issue during its sinking too, because there was nothing stopping water at that point. But yeah, I would go that far if I could. I believe, oops, pushed the wrong one. I would go down that path if I wanted to, but it'd be in a different pathway. So, okay, great question there, Copper. Or not really a question, like reply. So basically, Titanic got more fancier as it went up. I would say this is one of the most fanciest decks here. I don't know. Sometimes I'm saying words that don't even make sense or aren't even words. I don't know if fanciest is the word, or fancier. But as you go down, that's where more of Titanic's most important rooms. You would hit the boiler rooms, but not just those. You would hit the squash court, which basically, if you guys don't know, it's kind of like where you'd go play ping pong or racquetball or stuff like that in today's standards. So that was kind of a fun thing. The pool is downstairs as well. You would hit a lot more of those like first class staterooms and second class. Actually, D deck I believe was the last. D or E deck was the last deck that first class would go, because Titanic at that time was luxurious. So they didn't want any of the first class passengers to be down there because it was the farther down you go, the more you're going to hear the engines. And if you pay a lot, and back then they paid, I forgot how much it was too now, but they paid a lot more to go for first class. And when you pay for first class, you don't pay to hear engines and stuff. You're going to hear engines wherever you are in Titanic pretty much. They didn't have the stuff we have now where it's almost all just in one room. Did you know the pool on the Titanic was still being filled with water? Yeah, it was. I'll go with what Copper said, though. We will continue to go up, and I just want to show you guys. Oh, wait. No, I can go through this side, I believe. Yep. So never mind. We'll go quickly through here. I can't go too far in here. Again, this is the only a fourth of Titanic, so I don't even have the 50%. I might do another live stream kind of just carrying on with this because we will be building this. This is going to relate to it, and I will continue to do live streams similar to this because my channel is going to be more focused towards this content. And so you'll see a mixture of both these streams, but I will also be building actual... I will be building this Titanic on stream as well. So yeah, you'll see a mixture of both because Titanic and Honor and Glory are what's making this possible for me to do as well because they actually have a map of Titanic that just makes it even better. But yeah, so this is where the first class would eat. There's other places as well, but this is one of the first class places they would eat. I can't go too far in here, but guys, this is amazing. The detail on this, the way they set up all of this, it's fantastic. And again, these windows can be opened by just a hatch, but it's fantastic. People can get their plates and empty their plates here, and then there'd be places over there, I can't go over there, where they'd be taken and all that stuff, and they would have waitresses and all of that because this is like the luxurious place. So if you want a cruise ship today, this is where people, like, you wouldn't be like carrying your plate to some other person. You'd have people taking your food to you pretty much at this point because this is like the most luxurious area. You couldn't get any luxurious than this. But anyways, yeah, you would have like over here would be kind of like more of the I would say the luxurious side because in this area over here, majority of the people that sat in here just didn't want to be close to a window or something. But yeah, people just came and sat where they wanted to because they're first class. They didn't have any people couldn't tell them where they couldn't sit. But yeah, I can't go so far because these chairs are blocking me from going over there. But this is probably about as far as I can go, is right about here. As you do see in the Titanic, the movie, there is like a table that they sit right on one of these. This would be where they would be eating, I believe. So yeah, one of these tables they'd be eating at. I know some of these tables are bigger. As you get in over there, like over there, would be more of like the games that were being played at the same time, kind of like after dinner and stuff. Yeah, you mean Titanic had DoorDash? Hey, if Titanic had DoorDash, guys, I don't know what they would do. I love when Copper's here. He just makes it funny. Again, this is they have an information thing on each of the doors. Also, I do want to state when I do build this room in Titanic, it will be, again, it's going to be completely detailed out and organized. But when I do build this room, it's going to be like getting set up for the next morning because Titanic, what would happen from supper to breakfast, because supper was so big, they would have to kind of break it up. Like, they would be constantly working. And so through the night, they would be setting up the entire Titanic's eating spots, whether it be first, second, or third class. But yeah, this would be definitely one of the rooms that Titanic was pretty much just used the most. It's like a kitchen in a house. The kitchen is going to be like where the family comes together. This is like Titanic, pretty much. So, now we'll make it up to kind of pick this pace up a little bit, and we'll go up to C deck, which C deck is probably like, I would say like, I don't like C deck as much. It's not as detailed. But anyways, you would get this picture here. And by the way, guys, this is probably, you can't get any deeper than this. The entire team for Titanic Honor and Glory, they have been working endlessly to get this to exactly look like Titanic, which is almost impossible, but not completely, because Titanic's blueprints were all almost already gone. Once a ship is like sunk and all that, they just get rid of them. And for Titanic's case, they pretty much lost it because a lot of the blueprints were carried in this ship. They went with Titanic, and it played a vital role in Titanic sinking because they used it to help Thomas Andrews, the designer of the ship, used it as a vital role. He's like, look, we're gonna sink in this amount of hours because he actually had the maps with him, but unfortunately those were lost with it and won't ever probably be refound either. But anyways, this is C deck, and by the way, they also have these lit things, these signs up above on every deck that would tell it like C deck, D deck, and all that. But what's cool about these is the lights were kind of more waterproof. If you guys can hear if you guys know what I mean. These would stay on even after they were covered up with water for a little bit longer versus these ones, because these weren't completely sealed. These were more sealed off. So like technically, I mean, I'm just giving you guys like details, things that I knew, and we'll actually play like a sinking demonstration thing later on or in a different stream. But yeah, this is like one of the, I don't know what I want to say. Not completely waterproof, but this was sealed enough that when water did come up to this point, these would still be lit even after these lights went off, which I thought was cool. And a lot of these lights, the water never even got up to them before they went out, because by the time water got up to these, the next deck up, water was starting to come up that deck already. So these lights were going out before, and I will show you guys in a later later version, in the sinking version, what I mean by that. Like these were actually they were just being blacked out before water even hit them, just the way Titanic was sunk. All right, and here's more. Oh, and guess I was right, it goes all the way to E deck, A to E. Yep, but so I don't know why they clearly kind of left them on B deck. I guess B deck's the most important deck to Titanic Honor and Glory. But no, each of them would have the C deck plaque here, and it also, I believe, yep, they would also have the C deck plaque here. And this is what I meant here. They would have a light on this side and that side, and instead of having that big chandelier thing in the middle, I forgot the name of it, they would just put more artwork things. And this is kind of cool. It's like a flower blooming, kind of. This is more that Victorian style, like I predicted. Or not like I predicted, but like I stated earlier. Titanic was decorated all throughout with it. I can't go past here, but this is where all the mail was done on Titanic. If customers had any mail that they needed to get out, and yes, you guys would think it'd be crazy. Like, you would be able to take a letter to these people here, and basically that letter would go up to the wireless room where they would send out messages to America or to England or other ships to translate throughout the ocean. And basically that would be what they would send to their relatives and stuff, being like, oh yeah, we're in the middle of the ocean right now, 2 days away from America or something. And yeah, and the wireless operators, they would do that. It was a small fee, but it wasn't too much. And majority of the first class passengers did that. Again, these are Titanic heaters, so definitely not what we have like today. They're pretty similar, but Titanic used more of that bronze in it, and it kind of made it glow off the lights. I know he wants to be making a minifigures, guys. Maybe there will be minifigures inside, or no wings owner. Maybe there'll be droids. And you got a point there. Yes, I will attempt to put minifigures inside there. Oh, and Geo did come up with that. But yeah, I will put minifigures in there. Obviously, they're not going to be. I want to gear it towards more of the 19th century, early 19th century, but you never know if that's going to be possible or not. Maybe a tank sitting on top of it. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, and every deck kind of had a plan. You can see over in that corner right there in that wall would be the ship, the entire ship's map going that way. And this is the lady side on that at that point. Yeah, and in certain ways, smoking was not a thing. You couldn't do that over there. And this is the elevators again. Nothing really exciting over here. This would be the ladies' side again. To be more continuation through the entire ship. Yeah, and this is kind of a cool thing. There's like a fire alarm, or not really. I mean, I guess it's a fire alarm, but this is like a sensor too, to let people know, what's going on throughout the ship and stuff. It's kind of fascinating. They don't have any pipes or anything like that running through the sea deck here. I can't go through here, but what I can do is this would be state class rooms. So this is all the first class staterooms, and they would have a bunch of decorations here. So they would have like a decoration here plaque, and this is like an air vent, and then they would go electric box. So what they would do is they would pull these down, and if they had to fix a fuse or something, they can fix it by pulling that down and putting it in. And then it would be a light. And it would go through the entire Titanic like that. I will go down this one very shortly. I'm going to do some other things first. We're going to go up the other decks, and then we'll come back to this way, because this leads to the other side of Titanic, and we'll get to that. I might have a glass insulator from a telegraphing cable that we used to go across a place where the tides met. Interesting. Please like if you're watching. Leave a please, if you're watching, leave a like. Thank you, Copper, for doing that. That's so good. Again, this is what my content's gonna be geared more towards. The city will return eventually, but Titanic's more of a thing that for me. I think it's geared towards me, and you guys can see I have knowledge in this. This is something that I am definitely more geared towards. Yeah, so if you guys can't tell, well, you can, I would assume, that I just have more knowledge in this. And here's a map that I've been talking about. Yeah, so this side over here would be more of the grand staircase side, and this would be the aft grand staircase. Or no, this would be the aft grand staircase. This would be the grand staircase side. A little confusing there. But no, I am geared towards this, and each of these will tell you like who's been in it. And yeah, it goes all the way down. But I will come back to that soon. The artwork on this deck, on C deck, isn't as important. It's not as detailed. I mean, clearly you guys can guess. This is definitely not the most detailed of the decks, because this deck really didn't have an important thing. This was more of like, okay, people slept on this deck. Doesn't really have an important thing. Yes, C deck had a lot of other things. If I could go down that way, or if I can go all the way down that way, which I will soon, but even then I can't go as far as I want to. C deck had a lot of important things. It's not super decorated. Here's more of those fuse boxes. These would run like the electric heaters. And by the way, once water hit the electric heaters, it was almost like a fire hazard pretty much. These things would almost burn out right away. Because water and heaters, I would almost admit that they're worse kind of than electric. Because Titanic had cold water coming on it. It was not hot. This was 28 degrees it's something that's definitely not something you want to be near when these things, when, what's it called? When water hit this stuff. Yeah. And by the way, if I'm looking this way, got my chat over here, got my computer, live stream stuff over here. Just let you know, the deck isn't as important. It can sink. Yep. Again, this is a vital role. This is like the middle of Titanic right now. It's not really the most important. It did carry, again, the mail, and it had like these kind of little things here. This is just like a early demo thing that Titanic Honor Glory was stating. This was not there. It was something else. It's just little things that Titanic Honor and Glory could do to, you know, kind of get more attention to people. Like, but yeah. And what was odd is on all these clocks, it would have, this clock would be set backwards at midnight, 49 minutes. Because it did. It was so weird. I don't know why they did it, but it would have been done. And then here's the clock for this deck. Not all the decks have a clock, but C deck did because it was the middle deck. It was kind of like a it looked like a different one. So like, okay, you would get C deck, and then D deck didn't have one, and then I believe E deck did. So like every other deck kind of thing got one. Again, not a fancy deck, but as you make your way from D deck down there to C deck, and now we're on to E deck. These are people from White Star Line. I can't name them off right away, but I can tell you right now, this is people that were used, or like pictures of White Star Line people. And now we're on to B deck. This deck actually held a lot of the important things for Titanic during its sinking that I can't show because it won't let me show you because these doors won't open. But yeah, more elevators here. This is the elevator, what it looked like inside. These elevators are almost like today's elevators. There's differences, but guys, there's not much difference, you know, than these elevators compared to what we have now. If anything, Titanic's elevators are way more fancier and way more decorated than what's it called? Like cruise ships nowadays. They don't have it like this. This is not what cruise ships look like. They just have like a basic elevator because they're not really important. Yeah, so this is, if anything, this is probably like a more fancier way than ships built these days. They would just have a bench in there for a person to sit down on, like for people. And yeah, push the button, it would take you. These were relatively fast for their days too. You got to understand the elevators were just recently developed, like 10 years before they even came on here. So the fact that Titanic had them was amazing. This deck isn't important. It's gonna say, yeah, we made a mistake. The water didn't care about the rules. Yeah. Again, this one's not really a decorative deck either, but what Titanic did cover for, which I can't show you, on D deck would be its interior deck. So basically, again, can't show you, Titanic would have a deck that would run through almost the entire length of Titanic in this case, and you'd be able to like look out this deck. And then later on, as you get down closer to that side, you'd be able to eat outside on one of their decks if you were first class. Yeah, so that was a very cool opportunity that first class got to eat and do, because you would be able to look out the windows at the waves and at everything as, you know, Titanic was moving around. What's up, Scott? Again, more of this. Oh, and here's that circuit. Yeah, so this is like circuits. And compared to like before, all you'd have to do was flip them off and on. They're a lot different today. And then each of these little, I don't know. Oops, wrong button. No, I don't want to quit the game. No, each of these little, what's it called? I can't say that. I don't know what the name's called. But anyways, these little white things, not the like up and down things, but that line right there would be like all the circuit breakers themselves. So you just pull those out and replace them. A lot different than today's. We'll go down this again later on, but again, like I said, it shows you like who was there. This is Ismay's sitting room. So if you guys don't know who Ismay is, this is the maker of White Star Line, or his dad was. But basically, he was in charge of the entire White Star Line. But he was on the ship, and he survived, and he shouldn't have survived. If you guys remember Titanic, this is the guy that would legit hop on a lifeboat, and he would be like the guy who you're like, oh, this guy is a guy, and he would be with all the ladies and kids, and he shouldn't have been on there anyway, and he looked, people looked back at him, and they weren't happy about him. So Titanic carried on more of those lights, and if you guys look at that, it's kind of cool. Here you'd have two people holding the lights, and then you got on the B deck, and it'd be just one person. Yeah, it's cool. Scott Davis must have a very reputation on everyone's channel. So, anyways, now we're going to make it our way up to A deck because, again, if anything, this deck is more boring than C deck. Apart from when you go outside on the decks, which I can't unfortunately do in this one. So you're going to make your way up here, and I can't go any farther. Yes, it's not good. Again, this is 25% of Titanic. So this part's done. I just can't go here because I tried to get the actual 50% of Titanic to work, and it didn't want to work for the stream. So maybe in another stream, we kind of just carry that on. But we're not done yet. Because, as I said, we have the upstairs, we have the downstairs. E deck, here we come. So basically, passengers would be able to, actually, I don't know if I can show you guys here or not. But you would be able to look down this. And this is the scariest part. Even just seeing pictures of it would be scary. Guys, picture yourself for like a minute or two looking down one of these stairwells, and at the bottom you guys see seawater. Picture yourself that. You're on a ship. You're being told that you're not sinking. The ship is fine, that you're not sinking. Yet meanwhile, you can look down this thing and you see water at the bottom of it. I just thought that was kind of scary, and I tell everyone that. It's like, even my parents and stuff. Picture yourself, look down that, and the fact that you see water would scare the death out of you guys. Because you're being told by everyone. Everyone on Titanic, every one of the crew members was saying, oh, we're not going to sink, we're fine, the ship is okay. Meanwhile, again, you see this. I'd be frightened. I'd be like, okay, we need to get up to the highest deck. Because once water got through here, or once water got up to one of those decks, Titanic was sinking. Because you can see down through here, it was not designed to go that far up. And it still isn't. But anyway, we're going down. And this is the deck we started on. Again, this is where you would board into Titanic. Be over here. I can't get those doors open on that side. But you'd go around there. This, again, as I stated, is probably the second most fanciest deck after the Grand Staircase, of course, where people would dance and stuff. Now we're on to E deck. Here's another picture. Really nice painting of Titanic. But yeah. So the difference between E deck and D deck. So look, we have two stairwells here, and these would carry on throughout the entire Titanic. But once you hit down to E deck, they pretty much drop the two stair thing. Now it's one stairs. Because now you're getting down into second class and third class, which, as they would put it, aren't as important. Anyway, so right over here would be elevator shaft things. But anyways, this is the part I want to show you guys. This is the cool part. So, look up. This is the entire Titanic's fourth decks. Guys, this is cool. But now imagine you're at the top, and right here you see water. This is what they saw that night. You're at the bottom, you're at the top. You're at the top, you're looking down, and you see water. I don't know. That scared the death out of me. Anyway. Yeah, each of them, I don't know why, but they would have like a dresser here. I don't know, for like a random purpose. But it's on every single one of these, I believe. If you were to go over here, there'd be a dresser too. I think it's like keys or something. I could be wrong, but yeah. And again, these will tell you who lives in each of these. This is Margaret, so she'd be under. She would live here. Kind of an odd place, but that's where she wanted to live, or be on Titanic. This is the elevators. This is as far as the elevators go. They don't go any farther down. So once you got down to here, you couldn't go any farther. And behind this would be the mailroom and the squash court. So basically, this is like, again, like I stated earlier, this is like the giant. If you ever been into a YMCA or something, you just see the giant basketball court, or it's like a basketball court, but like a what's it called? Tennis court, kind of. It's relatively different, you know. But anyways, that's that. Again, thanks for you guys watching this. Again, this is going to get a lot better as this continues on. Not just this episode, but the next one, the next live stream I do. So this is another clock. I mentioned C deck had a clock. D deck didn't. B deck didn't. But A deck did on the grand staircase. So this is another circuit breaker thing. They would have these on each deck, but you kind of wouldn't notice that it was even there because it'd be covered up by this wood paneling. And there's another one up here too. Before we go down, this is Scotland Road. Guys, this is probably a thing that everyone remembers. But this is also one of the most terrifying decks for Titanic. Because during the early stages of Titanic sinking, the water had access through the entire length of this. There was no waterproof doors or water tight doors or anything like that. Nothing could stop the water. Once it got to this point, water could move freely on this deck. It could go anywhere it wanted without being stopped. There was nothing that could stop water after this point, because there was nothing able to stop the water at this point. Yeah, nothing could stop this. This is where crew would sleep. Definitely not the best place I would want to sleep on Titanic, but it's a place to sleep, I guess. Again, like I stated, it's definitely yeah, not a spot you want to be. Here's the boiler room. I'll show you that later. Yeah, this is kind of cool down here too. This is like where third class would be. There'd be more stairs up that way. This would lead down to more of F deck and more classes. It'd be mainly third class passengers down that way. But yeah, E deck is, I don't know if I want to call it the most boringest deck, because it also has some of the most important things there. I keep saying that, but E deck does really have some of this stuff. Because look, E deck has the fire extinguishers and a lot of this stuff. This stuff can go all the way up to D deck. It's not like it's stuck at one deck. I shouldn't be surprised you really know a lot about Titanic and facts about it. Yeah, I do. This is boiler number 4. It does tell you on here too, but I could tell you without it being there. It's going to continue going up, so this would be 3. And then 2 would be up here too. But unfortunately, we can't get any farther than this. Once I get up to here, it should block me any second now. I believe it blocks me, yep, right up here. So yeah, there'd be rooms carried down to here. It tells you right on here. This is like where the magicians and all that stuff would stay. Magicians. Yeah, can't talk to that, I guess. All the people that play music would be here. This would be engineers, so people that worked in the engineer rooms. Also known as people that would work in, what's it called? The engine rooms. That's what it was. This would be the storekeepers that they would go around the Titanic and kind of clean stuff. Where are Jack and Rose at? And well, Copper, it really depends on what part of the movie you're talking about. Anyways, this is Titanic's one. Okay, when I meant Titanic, when water could freely move through Titanic, here's how I want to say it. There's a watertight deck or door all the way up there, and there's one here. But all the way at the end of this, as I will show you in a second, once it got past that door, anything above that, water could get all the way up to here. And even if it got up to here, it wasn't sealed. Because then at that point, it could go up to higher decks, like C deck and D deck and even E deck. But yeah, these would close when Titanic pushed the button to close the watertight doors to hopefully protect Titanic and its passengers from the ship entirely sinking. These were what they were. Now down in the boiler rooms, they were bigger and bulkier, but up here, these can manually be closed. People can close them with a button, but they also can close these manually with like using their hands and stuff. They're not heavy, or they are heavy, but they're really hard to close. But mainly this was done by a switch, and they would be able to do that from the bridge. I think they're still floating on that door. Oh, Copper. C provides it. But behind this would be the engine room. If you would go down one of these stairs on the left, you would run into the engine room. So kind of like at the end of that one, at the end of here. So right under this floor would be the engine room, basically at that point. That's what you would run into. I can't go any farther to show you that, but that's what you would run into. There'd be another watertight door at the end of this hallway. This is a boiler room. This is the last boiler room of Titanic. So basically it's weird. You would think that the first boiler room would be in the front of the ship, like I thought many years. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I was wrong, which humans are wrong at points. But basically, no. The first boiler was as close as the engine room can go. So when the water got up to this point, once it got to this boiler, and by the way, guys, when Titanic split, this is where it split. This is pretty much where it split. In between the first boiler right there to the engine room. This is pretty much roughly where they found that Titanic split, and majority of the weakness that split Titanic was actually upstairs. They didn't have enough reinforcements to prevent it from doing no splitting. But yeah, it prevented, or it ruined the entire thing. It wasn't designed to do that. It was at its width, its maximum point. And as you can see right here, Titanic's beams didn't go like this. They went, or long ways, they went width ways. So when Titanic split, it didn't have to deal with the beams being like this, because the beams were like this. Titanic, it all it had to do was open up and split. But if they were like this, Titanic, it wouldn't have split. At least in my definition, it wouldn't, because it would have to break all those beams, which would be almost, even with how heavy Titanic is, it wouldn't do it. If we really want to go that far. Anyway, these are like pumps and stuff that would go throughout Titanic, and they would do that. All these are wires. So as I stated, the engine room's down all the way there. This is electricity pretty much running through the entire ship. But unlike the copper and stuff we have today, if these touched water, they were fine. It wasn't going to do anything. So that would be all underwater. Meanwhile, this is fine. This is heaters. kind of similar to how we have it in buildings today. It would run through the entire ship and kind of heat the ship up. But now, this is where third class would eat. So pretty much all of the third class, and this is the single people. So the people that were, the males would be here. They would eat here, and on this side, and the females would be in a different room. They're like, you go up here, and guys, you would think that this is different, but basically, it's weird. Because on this wall, there's another stairs, and it would go to that side. I don't know. You guys, it got me confused for a little second, too, there. There's watertight doors that lead through here, too. And here's that other stairs. So, yeah, the males would eat on this side, and the females and stuff would eat on this side. They split it off because they didn't... Third class was a lot of single people. They didn't have... there weren't really a lot of families too at the same time. It was more of, okay, you got single ladies or single guys that were going to America to start families of their own and stuff. But it wasn't, a lot of third class wasn't just like one person. It was, a family or anything like that. It was more of one person pretty much. This would be Olympic here, and other ships, and even tells you right here. Yeah, single men or men traveling in groups, pretty much. All right, so we got out of that deck, and I believe it tells you the same thing down here. Yep. Yeah, and the ladies would it would eat over there, kind of down away from that area. Separated. These would be water pipes that would lead through the entire Titanic. And guys, this still worked when they were covered up because they were sealed. So like the heater and the water pipes and the electricity, it all still worked. Because you guys got to remember, this side of Titanic over here was flooded, and this side was still not flooded. So basically, the furnace part would the furnace pipe right here. It's still as thin as we have it today, and I believe it used asbestos still, so it wasn't the safest thing to use. But basically, that would buckle first. When water hit it, it would continue to go for so long, and then because it's so thin, it pretty much gave up. It couldn't hold it. It couldn't hold the water to keep it out, and it would basically break at this end over here, and then water would go through that. These are like solid steel, and these are steel cables. They didn't break until the breaking point, of course. But even if water got over to that point right there, these would still be fine. Water would still be able to freely, like if you were to turn water on over on this side of the ship and Titanic was flooded on this side of the ship, it would still bring out water. It's weird. I don't know how you would say that, but it's true. But yeah, let's go to the boilers. Who wants to go get burnt? So guys, down here is probably the most interesting thing. So we have up here, this is a spot that would go out of the entire Titanic and would go up to the first smokestack of Titanic. So if you think Titanic has 4 smokestacks, this would go all the way up to the first one. And I could technically go, I can't go all the way up, but I can go pretty far up. Yeah, this is where I have to stop. But yeah, you would see right here is the first class pass, not first class, the first smokestack, and all of that would run down here. I do want to question why Titanic Honor and Glory made you go down the ladder this fast. Guys, it's almost like I'm jumping the ladder at this point. Like, look how fast I'm going. I'm just pushing my button. But anyway, guys, this was like, you wouldn't want to be down here. This is 120 degrees down here the entire time Titanic was traveling through the entire ocean. 120 degrees. If you want to be down here in 120, go for it. But I am not going to be down here when I can go up there or out of here, and I can go and go one deck farther and be in 70, 80 degree weather, if that. By this point, you know, because on the ocean in April, the weather in the daytime was great. It was the nighttime you didn't want to be outside. But yeah, we're going to continue going down farther in Titanic. This would lead pipes up to the smokestack. And we'll go even farther. Yeah, you don't want to be down here unless you like heat. So basically, people would probably ask me, this entire thing right here, this entire big box, you'd go around here. This is the furnace. This is what goes up to the smokestacks and puts out that steam or the smoke that you see. Obviously, this goes through a lot more than just this, but that's what would end up eventually happening. We'll go down here, and we can't go down this ladder, but we can go down this ladder. It made no sense why they did it, but I can. Alright, so guys, this is 120 degrees down here. I mean, you can see how hot it is. Basically, there'd be these coal bunkers right here, and in the middle... Oh wait, you don't want me to go any farther. Sorry. Anyway, so this is the coal. They would shovel the coal into these 3 furnaces here. There's 3 furnaces, and each boiler, there's some on this side, and then if I can't go any farther, but basically on the other side of this boiler, there would be 3 more openings. And when Titanic first started sinking, these had to be closed. If you did not close these, boom, there'd be an explosion, because water hits this, cold water preferably, and this thing is messed up. It goes kaboomy. It's like a bomb down here. All it takes is just a little bit of water to pretty much go into this, and it's done. So they had to make sure that these were completely closed and watertight to where water can't do it. And by the way, because these are steam engines, water did go into these, but it was done a certain way. So you would have these down here, and up here would be like where water would be stored. And 70% of this was all water. And under me is more water that these boilers would use to feed into here. And this would be the coal again that they would use. But so yeah, when I start Titanic, what I start Titanic with is what's down here. So down below this is the double bottom. So when I build Titanic, it's going to have 2 floors before I even get to the boiler room. So basically how I would say this is Titanic, if it hit something on the bottom of the ocean, it would have to rip through 2 layers of Titanic before it can even do anything. And that's really good. It's more safety for Titanic. There's 6 of these rooms, so 6 boilers in each of these, which would make 28, because one of the rooms is very odd and does carry things very odd, but there would be valves and all that. But yeah, this is the boiler room. And again, I can go farther, but I'm not in the latest version if I want to see that, because it won't let me do it. I'm going to try maybe eventually to do that, but who knows if that'll work. So we'll make ourselves back up here. And this will be one of the earlier rooms that I do build in Titanic. But what I want to do is I don't want to build any of the rooms until after I get Titanic completely built. And then I come back through and build the rooms. How many workers are we going to have inside? So roughly, Titanic had over 700 crew. It was like a 700 to 1,000. That's how much they could hold. I believe they only had 700 or 800 on board Titanic when she went on her first voyage, also known as her last voyage. But she could hold up to 1,000 crew members. But basically, they would rotate. So you could work 4 hours. No, I believe, yeah, it was 4 hours on, 8 hours off. And then you'd work 4 hours, get 8 hours off. And you work another 4 hours. It would keep going. Because down here, it was so hot that you only could be down here for so long. Crew members, what they would often do when Titanic was going through the ocean and stuff, they would go all the way up here, and when they went all the way up here, they would be able to get fresh air. And you could get fresh air down there. There's a pipe that goes down here. Yeah, there's a pipe that goes down this to get fresh air down there, but it wasn't like going up here. So the crew members would be able to go all the way up here. I can't go any farther, and would be able to get fresh air pretty much. It's almost like going outside. But yeah, that's kind of like a cool thing. But yeah, you'd work 4 hours on, 8 hours off, which seemed reasonable. You wouldn't want to work any more than 4 hours down here unless you like 120 degrees, and you would be shoveling coal majority of the time. That's all you'd be doing. So to enter that, that's like working in the worst possible conditions you can. Boiler number 5. Now all these rooms right here, by the way, guys, this is like drying rooms and rooms that would be used for the boilers. There were no special rooms, I can tell you that right now. This would be crew members and all that. So this is EDAC pretty much. We already explained that. Guys, we're walking down to one of the biggest, most luxurious things on Titanic. If not, one of my favorite rooms and one of the hardest. Guys, when I mean this is one of the hardest, this is one of the hardest rooms that will be made for Titanic. I think once I get this room done, I'll be fine. But this room is going to be so hard to make that you guys will understand in a second why it's going to be so hard to make. We're going to walk down here, and this is F deck. You can't get any lower than this. Yeah, there's no cabins below this other than for crew. But yeah, I can't do much. Behind here, right over here, would be the swimming pool, right behind this door. Because I only have 25% of Titanic unlocked here, because the other file, again, wouldn't work for me. I can't show you the pool. It says crew members only, but that's only because they didn't finish this part. This would be storage under here. This would be rooms, basically, that would go down here. Yeah. But, guys, this is what I'm talking about. The hardest room in Titanic for me to even think about making is this. Guys, this is still on Titanic, and it still looks pretty much the exact same on Titanic as it does 120 years ago, roughly. This, if you were to clean it up a little bit, this room almost looks exactly like what it looked like so long ago. This is the Turkish baths. So basically, this would be like I said, like a cooling place, as it says right here, to go cool off, luxurious bath area. You'd be able to like change stuff here and kind of sit one of these. There's like a this is a electric bath. Don't ask me why they have electric bath, but they do. It's a weird thing. I kind of questioned it for a long time too. This is a weighting machine, so we don't really use these today anymore. But this would tell you, you would sit on this chair, and this chair would tell you how much you weighed. Nowadays, we just step on a scale, and you would find out how much you weighed. But they did that by sitting on this, and it would tell you how much you weighed. But yeah, guys, this room is going to be the hardest in Titanic to make. I will have a lot of issues making this room because the ceiling alone, guys, this is just, I don't know, crazy. And this is a locker and stuff. Yeah, guys, I don't know. This is going to be the hardest room to make. I can't go any farther than that. I don't know. I love this. And if you look at Titanic's pictures now, 110, 15 years later, the tile work and all this stuff is still the same as it was. But yeah, this is the hardest room to make on Titanic. Yeah, then they would split this off for ladies and gentlemen because they wouldn't have them together, obviously. But yeah. Yep, my plan is to build the entire ship. So like I said, I'm going to build the entire ship first, and then we will go through and build the entire interior of the ship. At least that's what I have planned. Don't guarantee. Maybe before we go to Brick World Chicago this year, I might work on a little bit of the interior rooms. But for the most part, it's going to be the exterior of the ship that I want to work on first. So that's all of the rooms on this deck and pretty much the entire Titanic, but we're not done yet. Just when you guys thought I was done. No, if we go back up to C and B deck, like I mentioned, there's this long pathway. So we are on the bow section. This is the grand staircase section, the bow section. If you go all the way down here, and I know that these rooms are important, and I can't go into them all the way, but you go all the way down Titanic. By the way, if you guys are wondering, this is water pipes. They're just kind of hidden by Titanic's luxurious, like, Victorian style. You can do it. Yeah, it's going to be a hard process, but yeah. And in the middle of this, there should be a ladder. I don't think I can find it through here. I think it's in one of these rooms. But yeah, so we're making our way to the stern. This is the other end of the ship. Here's that little book that the map of Titanic I showed you earlier. And this is the other grand staircase. Titanic had 2 grand staircases. This is the aft. So this isn't as big, but it's still very much luxurious, and it's still, if not almost the exact same as the other one. Now, when I said I needed, Scott, you were on, what's it called? Behind the, behind the bricks, or beyond the bricks. You would, this is what I want, like 3D printed and stuff. This would be the hard part that I would have to make, that Lego does not make of pieces. But yeah, this railing and this design is going to be a hard part to do, but I would do it. This is just more rooms that would continue on. We'll go up that staircase in a second. This would be more ladies. And then down here, this is a surgery. So when the ship had a hospital, and this is basically where that would be at. It would also have a... so basically, back then, there would be a lot of diseases and stuff. People would put people... So if you would go down to this door here, on the other side of the hospital would be a spot that people that were sick and stuff can be there. They can only be in that area. They would not let them out of there. Because they could carry infections through the entire ship, and then the entire ship would be pretty much grounded. You couldn't move it. It's like today. But yeah, here's C deck. This is the grand staircase. In this case, this is the same thing. It leads all the way down to the same staircase on that side of the ship that we just saw. But this is more first class. People would be able to sit down here. And these are photos of actually people that have actually made this ship possible. This is one of the persons that made the ship. This ship here, by the way, I'm not talking about Titanic itself. This is for the online, what I'm playing right now. This guy helped make this game. I don't know if you guys got that majority. So this is the Cafe Persian. This is, like I said, Titanic had 3 styles. It had Victorian, which was almost the entire ship. That's exactly how the entire ship pretty much ran. But it also had France, and France, whatever you want to call it, and Italian. And that would be what this room. This is more dedicated towards the French and the Italian people because it was a cafe, and not dedicated toward the people itself. It was just how it was designed. It was designed more towards how France and Italy kind of made their rooms and stuff. But yeah, people would sit down on these porches and stuff, and they would have, maybe a morning breakfast or a sip of tea or coffee. Titanic had a bunch of tea and coffee beyond ridiculous amounts. Yeah, here's plates and stuff. A lot of it was croissants. You would just get croissant and a coffee or a tea or whatever drink, pretty much, milk. And you would sit down and you would just talk to your family or your friends. You would play a card game, or you would look out the window, because remember, this is when you're at the ocean. You wouldn't be seeing any of this. This is like when Titanic was being built and stuff. But yeah, this is a very fancy room. This would be another hard room to make, just because it has vines running down the entire room. But the art style of the ceiling, it's going to have to be used by wires and ropes and stuff. This is probably where I'll use those nets that I bought, that I have in that bin right there. That would be what I'd use these nets for. Kind of to put up here. So this, oh boy, guys, this is amazing. I can't go over here, but this is a fancy room here, and I would love to talk more about that, but I can't. It won't let me go any farther. Oh wait, no way. Guys, never mind. I can go over here. Forget about that. Guys, this room, I didn't think it would let me go any farther. I thought this was as far as I could go. Guys, this is a cafe. This is like a restaurant. So we think of cruise ships. This is like the restaurant of the cruise ship here. First class had the opportunity to go here and sit down and eat some of the most fanciest food on Titanic, made by the best chefs. Obviously, it'd be additional fee, like it says on here, or additional amount of money. But, guys, boy, was this a very cool spot. This is one of the most fanciest rooms in Titanic. One of the most detailed rooms. Yeah, this room is beyond fancy. As you can tell already. But yeah, it's amazing. And I love it. It's one of my favorite. Just because you could eat inside or outside. And there's a difference. This was a cafe out there, and this was the actual restaurant. There was two differences between these. Finally, a use for all those thousands of nets you have. Yes, Copper, I agree. I have too many nets. And I will probably spray paint those nets. You guys would think it would kind of sound weird, but I might do that because it is white. And I don't want to buy actual nets again when I can do that. Basically, you would register here. Put your name down here. Well, there'll be a guy standing here, and you would register again. So unlike when you pay for Titanic's ticket, you would get a ticket, and that ticket would pretty much be for what's it called? That would be for the food that you get the entire trip. This you would have to pay for. This wasn't part of the cost on Titanic. It was different. Much more luxurious food here. But yeah, as you can see, there's not as much tables because this is for the very rich people. This was not cheap food either. This is like, again, the most expensive food you can get on a ship. Walking our way out of here, again, this is the cafe. This is entirely different. I believe second class people were able to go in here too, so it wasn't just for first. You would have to hang all your stuff here, and then you'd be able to walk out of here and go to the next floor. So this is like the grand staircase on this ship, and I can go up here and I can go into, this is one of the bedrooms that the rich people, the first class people, would be able to stay in. So guys, this is pretty much what you're looking at. This is what you'd be sleeping in on Titanic if you were in the first class. I don't know if it tells me who it... Yeah. So this is basically you get a bed here, a bed here. You get a fan up here that you could turn on. There'd be a faucet here, a shoe rack thing there, another bed here, kind of like a closet here. See, look at these details. They put some very fun stuff in there. Trash can, a note here, Yeah, this is where you would sleep if you were first class. This is not third or second, mind you on that. Can't go any farther than there. I don't think it's going to let me do it. Yep, it ain't going to let me go any farther out here. This is another deck you'd be able to go out on. This is stained glass. This is the smoke room. Yeah, this is pretty much for all of, let's say, all of the 21-year-old and people above. Obviously, you didn't have to be 21. But yeah, that's where all those people would go over there. Pretty much at that point. Can't go on this side too. It's the same thing. But it is, as you probably can tell right here, a more fancier room in Titanic as well. Welcome, Captain Jake Studios. Guys, if you can't tell, I'm having fun doing this. This is something that I've been more passionate about. And I'm able to keep up the chat and all that. So, here's another one of those rooms. This is where this is where Thomas Andrews, this is the person who built Titanic, who designed Titanic. The blueprints are right here. This is where he slept. It's almost the entire same room, just built pretty much the opposite direction as the other one was. This is the reading and writing room. So basically, I can't go in here, but so when Thomas Andrews, when the ship was sinking, when he knew that the ship was going to be done, his last moments was not in his room. He did not stay in his room. What he did, because he was so close to the library, which this is the library, I mean, not here, but behind here is the library. This is where he was last seen. Unfortunately, he was not recorded anymore out. He did not survive. This was where a bunch of people that did survive said he was last. They did not see him any farther than this. And this is where the breakup happened. So when Titanic split, this was one of the rooms that split too. So, unfortunately, as you probably can guess, this is probably not where you want to be standing when Titanic split, which he didn't know it was going to split. He was last seen at 210, so that was right when, like the second smokestack, or the first, second smokestacks were falling. So by this point, the bridge was underwater. The entire bow was underwater. He was over here. Titanic was at an angle, like really steep. But yeah, he tragically did not survive that. Is dry. Yeah, let's not go that far there, Scott. But yeah, if you want to say that, you know, I mean, I guess. Yeah, here's one of those clocks again. These were like one of the only clocks that did not get set. And by the way, this is the natural light. So we have the giant chandelier or the light in the middle, and then we have the entire thing being lit up by the outside. All right. So, yeah, this will lead, again, all winners at a ship. I already showed you guys this side. This is all the passengers. It's cool to actually see who was here and how much I can know. That these are all kind of cool rooms too. This is like bathrooms and stuff too, by the way. First class people got their own bathrooms pretty much. They only had to share it with like one other person, which isn't bad for what everyone else had to. How much research did I do? I have done so much research for this, guys. It's beyond crazy. I even have a Titanic shirt, if you didn't even dedicate this to the stream more. I think Jack is chained up by the cop and jail room at this point. And yeah, Jack would have been... Yeah, guys, Jack would have been all the way down here. Maybe. So when you see Jack, he would have been down... I believe down one of these hallways. Yeah, it'd be down one of these hallways, or it'd be down... Ooh, I don't think E-Deck. No, it would have been down that. Yeah, so guys, it would have been pretty much down one of these decks over here. But, if you guys hold on, for 1 second. I will next stream. I'm not ending this stream, but I'm gonna close this part up. And we're kind of I'm gonna do a little bit more touring on a different section. If you wait 1 second. So give me a second, and I will. I'm gonna switch things up a little bit. We're gonna close this one out, and I'm gonna open the next one. Guys, still here. I'm just opening a different game mode up, and you guys are gonna love this one. This is Titanic sinking. This deck right here, the deck that I ended off is D deck. I'm gonna show you guys D deck sinking because I think that's important, and just give you guys more history on that. So let me open that file thing up here quick. Just 1 second, and I will be able to show you guys you guys are going to be bonkers. They made this. This is going to be crazy. All right, I should be able to, all right. In a second, it should start. It's going to start automatically, the syncing. All right. It's starting, and it does have volume on it too. We are playing the syncing mode. So by this point, guys, E deck has sunk. We are on D deck. And I want you guys to watch the electricity. I want you guys to watch the ship and how well it does in this sinking. I will play this like once or twice to show you guys exactly what it looks like. But yeah, this is scary, guys. By the way, if you were on Titanic, you would not be want to stand in this. It's cold water. But in this demonstration, I'm just showing you guys. Here's the power. By the way, they made this. So, yeah, here's D deck. You guys can hear this. The lights. Guys, yeah. And by the way, I can't go any farther than D deck. They only did D deck. But, even then. Yeah, this is not a pleasant spot you want to be. You can see, guys, if you guys look at it really closely, the lights did not stay perfect like we have them right now. The lights were dimming. As Titanic went down farther and farther, they got darker and darker. You'll see in a second that this light will pop out. Give it a second. And this light will completely go out. And there goes that light. And here's these lights. Guys, these aren't ordinary lights. The lights you see right here are not like this. Guys, just hearing the noise. If you guys can hear the volume, let me know. But this is disturbing that you're going to hear this noise and all this stuff. Yeah, and lights are going to be going out. It's going to get dark, by the way, guys. This is what I was talking about. The elevator right here. These signs stay up until pretty much the very end, until Titanic loses power or they get flooded. Yeah, guys, we're losing power pretty fast here now. It's getting pretty full in here, guys. The lights are pretty much all out here. It's almost, yeah. It's getting really dark in here. Let me make my way up here. This light will go out in a second. I can't even see the water. Yeah, that was black. As I stated earlier in the stream, the lights, they went out before water even hit it. We'll kind of play this 1 second. One more time, roughly. This is a full light, completely shining. It gets darker, though. as I mentioned earlier on, when Titanic was sinking, they left one of these doors open. I can't show you in here, but it did. Yeah, guys. This is not delightful. This is pretty much you guys walking up the stairs. And you're like, oh, we're fine. And then you see water, and you're like, oh, now we're not. As I showed you earlier on, these, the lights are being illuminated behind here. So they're still lit up. And all of these lights are still on. They just didn't want to keep them on because, guys, the detail on this, it's beyond ridiculous. It is some of the most luxurious, some of the biggest details. And you guys are seeing live right here just what Titanic looks like. A lot of these chairs, they're breaking up now. They're starting to lift up. Power's failing. Guys, remember there's more decks above this. But by the time this deck sinks, the bow, the very front part of the ship, is underwater now. So this is where Titanic's starting to fill up faster. Yeah. I would not be standing in this water, by the way, if it was real life. It is 28 degrees, unless you want to freeze. Yes, this is not the best place. Yeah. My dog sounds like there's a ship barking and swinging at the same time. Yeah. It's Copper's like, time to abandon ship, like Star Wars. Guys, this is crazy. Look at this. Oh my gosh. You know any lights back here? And now, any second, the elevators will go underwater. Or the elevator things. It's not deserving to me that you have seen Western Airlines. Oh, 2,605 disturbing. Okay, I should probably get out of this section. I can't even see. Yeah, okay. I think this one's over here. But, like I said, this is definitely one of the most disturbing ones. One second, if I can actually... Where did it go? Okay, there we go. Fixed it. I don't know if I have another one or not. I guess I do, but I'm not going to play that. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah. So basically, that was Titanic. Could have been a lot better. I will work on trying to get that last 50 or that other 25% unlocked so you guys can, so I can show you guys as well. There's another game that's called Britannic Patriotic of the Mediterranean or something like that. Basically, that is Titanic's sister ship, and she sunk too due to a mine. But I will give you guys that will be my next ship pretty much after I build Titanic. It will pair pretty much with Titanic, and yeah, that's my plans for that one. Guys, it's crazy. Right behind there, or not over there, Right over here is the city, but that's all being torn down. Actually, pretty much right after the stream starting tomorrow too, where it's just completely torn down, and I start the recording and all that. If you haven't noticed, I did some profile picture changes. I'm going to change that again as well. The name has changed to Zoner Designs because it's more appropriate to this channel. I'm going to be designing ships. And later on, I'm going to be designing my very own ship from the early 19th century. So it's pretty much, yeah, I'm designing my complete own ship. This will not be anything close to Titanic or any other ship. This will be how I choose to design it, but I will be using a lot of what Titanic kind of had in my ship. Obviously not making a video game stance out of it, but I will be making a ship, and it could be just as cool, maybe not. But yes, I am going to be building this, and it's going to be insane. I have right here actually, I have a bunch of pictures, or not pictures, but a bunch of like pieces that I will be using for this build. Like I have vent pieces here, I have corner pieces here that I have already started acquiring. These are pieces for inside the room, but I will be using them throughout the ship. I have more pieces here. This is, if I can get it open. So these would be more of like the pillars you guys see in D-Deck that I'll be using. I also have 1x2 jumpers, and then this is what I'll be using on deck. It's kind of like the clips and things that I'd be using to connect things throughout Titanic. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have. It's pretty much a basic stream for you guys tonight. I have a bunch of pieces lined up and ready to go. I also, give me a second, and I will show you probably a big thing I have. Yeah, wasn't joking. I have a bunch of pieces here. I also have 1x2s here, and this is like these will be pieces that I use for beams and stuff. I think I'm going to go now. Okay. Have a good one there on Captain J Studios. I also have over 2,000 1x2 or 1x4 bricks, and I will basically be connecting them and making kind of an entire beam that goes throughout Titanic. But yeah, that is stuff I've already obtained, and I will be using and the next update. So that is all I have. If you are on pretty much the after stream replay, shall I say, consider liking this stream and subscribing to the channel, because this is there's a whole bunch more coming to this channel. And apart from the one difficult thing we had earlier today, this has been the most successful stream that I've had on record. Guys, thank you so much for this. Most successful one, maybe not live stream and viewer wise, but as for difficulties and stuff, as far as I know, I did not really have any difficulties other than the file uploading in the beginning. But yeah, you guys can already see that I've been already starting to obtain pieces, and this will be happening. I wasn't kidding in the first place on this. This is actually starting to happen. A lot of the mills plates and stuff I'll be using for the city, or that were in the city, I will be taking apart and using the black plates and all that to build this dream. So, again, thank you all for being here. I believe it should tell me. Yeah, so thank you, Copper, Scott Davis, Captain Jake Studios, and just whoever else is watching in general. I just thank you so much for watching this, because without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. So, yeah. With that, I'm gonna end the stream. You guys have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you guys are from, and yeah, have a wonderful rest of your evening. And yeah, by the way, also there will be more of these streams. Preferably the bigger file one I want to do later on, but we will be doing streams involving building the Titanic and live. It will be videos and live streams, and you guys will see Titanic come together. So, you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you later.